Hello running relatives, it's Ed Midsole Bud here. Thanks for joining me on EDDBUD running shoe reviews, it's always appreciated. Today it's a running shoe yay or nay video for you. Remember, yay or nay is not about me saying a shoe is absolutely fantastic or total trash. I can't tell that until I get the shoe in hand and on foot. This is me letting you know whether I'm going to pick them up for review or not, or perhaps pass them by and let another running shoe tuber do them more justice. It could be that a shoe fits in really well with my rotation and I will pick it up to review for you guys out there. 4 different shoes in the yay or nay today, let's get to it. Welcome back people, and if it's your first time here, where have you been? Help the channel to continue to grow by hitting that subscribe button and clicking the bell below for notifications when I roll out the new videos for you. It helps us out a ton as well with the YouTube algorithm if you give this video a thumbs up like, but also share it with your running buddies. If you want to help support the channel on a more ad hoc basis, hit us up with a super thanks down below. It helps to keep the shoes rolling in. Lots to get through today, so let's get to it. So first up we have the Nike ZOOMX Invincible Run Flyknit 3. Obviously I did my own modifications to this Invincible Run original, chopping off some of the foam here in the heel and also on the sidewall of the midfoot. It looks like Nike have done exactly the same thing here and tried to weight relieve the shoe somewhat to try and perhaps keep up with some of their competitors. The profile of the Invincible Run 3 looks a little bit more like the Vomero 16 style upper. Almost like they've grabbed the original version of the Infinity Run upper and just strapped it to a new midsole. There's a strange casing-like feature to the midsole back, which of course was a prime candidate for damage from stairs, or perhaps those taking their shoes off with their other foot. Just don't do it please. That type of thing keeps me up at night. This will at least stop the damage, but I can't see it having any beneficial effect to the wonderful compressive feel that you get from the Invincible Run. Is this Nike nerfing one of their best shoes once again? Why do they do it? Maybe they're like punishment. They like to torture themselves, you know, come up with a really good idea, really great shoe, and then just trash it. Everyone loves the compressive feel on the heel of the Invincible Run. Loads of the viewers have multiple pairs of this shoe. Why would they put something in there to reduce that down? Why? I gotta be honest, I'm really not a fan of that silver ZOOMX logo thing that they've put on there. It's a little bit like you get those custom shop guitars and they put those like decals on there, little medallion type things. I can't stand that stuff. I like my guitars to be like standard the way they were in the 50s or the 60s. Just looks a bit tacky, and that designed at the Nike blah 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 text around the heel clip, again, is stuff that I'm not liking. It's aesthetic stuff, but it's just not to my specifications. They've also switched out the outsole rubber here on the V3. Now, that was again one of the greatest bits about the Invincible Run. Outsole was just awesome. It worked on pretty much every single surface you could possibly run on. Gravel, concrete, even some light trails as well. So what have Nike done? They've changed it up because that's what you do, isn't it? When something works really well, you change it. The lugs look less plentiful now, and there's some exposed midsole poking through in certain areas of the heel and midfoot. It's a bit worrying, might well change the durability of the outsole there. If debris and sharp objects are going to sort of poke through, it could get to the midsole. Classic glue marks there around the lateral side. There appears to be an outer texture to the midsole foam, perhaps in an attempt again to bolster the durability of that lovely but sometimes fragile ZOOMX. It looks a little bit like the sidewalls of that Max Fly, is it called? That trail shoe they're releasing? At least the upper bulge is now missing around the ankle area. That's a big step in the right direction in terms of upper. When it does come out, this is going to be a must try from me, so a yay. I'll see if it's as good as my special custom model that I created with my saw. Though to be honest, my Invincible Run custom is a little bit closer to the soon to be released Vaporfly Next Percent 3 rather than the Invincible Run 3. We got 2 Saucony shoes up next on the yay or nay. The first being a Triumph Pro. Now, the Triumph I've always thought of as being like a long run shoe, you know, more maximally cushioned, but still firm enough that you can use it on a daily basis. Though this version appears to feature a caged area within the midsole foam. So it quotes like a 30-40 split. I'm not exactly sure how that happens. It's a bit like a Del Boy and Rodney. Split it down the middle, 60-40. Does this mean we have Power Run Plus cage, then some type of Power Run PB blend in the core of the midsole? It's not really clear about this one. It's rather green in there with a nod to Nike's Air Max style midsole cutouts to show off the tech. So I could understand if it's like Power Run PB in there and then a Power Run Plus, perhaps, cage to it all to hold it together. Kind of like that idea of the Zoom Fly 5, isn't it? Where you've got the crushed up ZOOMX and some other foam on the outside, because that was a real winner. Can't see why they would refer to this as the Pro model unless there's some Power Run P-Backs foam in there. The upper though appears very reminiscent of what we've currently got in the Triumph. We've got one of those kind of midfoot straps that Saucony have been experimenting with. Certainly the shoes changed from the last time I tried a Triumph out, which was like the 17. I can remember very fondly, in fact, just before the lockdown, of my daughter and I out testing that shoe out, and then suddenly, bang, you know, I didn't get to see her for ages. That shoe kind of makes me sad, actually, when I think about it. Or happy in equal measures, I suppose. As I say, certainly a Zoomfly 5-like midsole profile and upper design with the exposed midfoot wrap. There's very little else to go on here, though, from this image. This shoe could be months and months off yet. Maybe I'll hold off giving you an absolute decision on this one until I've got some midsole stack information, perhaps a little bit about the weight and the actual setup of that midsole combo. I feel sometimes there's just too many shoes out there for certain companies to justify their existence. It's like we've got to have a shoe for every single type of run, and we really don't. I think you can find a really good daily shoe, perhaps something for some speed work, and then a sort of longer run shoe. You could probably even use that for your racing as well. They're all pretty durable these days. I don't think anything falls to bits within like a few miles. Well, you've got the Shift, haven't you? You've got the Triumph. They kind of occupy a similar space. So I'll give it a horse till at the moment on this one, somewhere in the middle. One which looks a little bit more enticing next, shoe number 3. It's the Kinvara Pro. It's reported to have a 3/4 length plate of sorts and a P-Backs midsole. I mean, you got to have a P-Backs midsole now, or you may as well not even start. I assume that means we have a Power Run PB slab underfoot, and to be honest, this looks like an Endorphin Pro 3 upper, but without all the holes cut out of it. See what I mean there? It's a very, very similar upper profile to this Kinvara Pro. You got that like raised heel collar at the back, just like the Endorphin Pro, and I think the toe box styling there very, very similar. Less like the current model of the Kinvara, in fact, and that does again make me wonder about the intent here. Is this like a attempt to turn the Kinvara into like a longer run shoe, something with some more maximal cushion? Was that not the intent of the Triumph and the Shift? I'm not really sure. A little odd that certain companies are shifting their models to all be these max cushion type efforts. I don't think the recent information released from Iron Man about the use of very high stack shoes is going to help with all of this either. I can see all the companies going out now to, you know, increase the stack heights to Prime X levels. I'm going to have to get my sander out soon so I can take off all of my door frames so I can get through. I think we still have a need for lower stack daily shoes here, so hopefully companies won't ditch them all completely. We won't be wandering around like Gene Simmons every day. I think it's all about balance in life. Balance in anything, really. That's why if I do buy a Gibson SG this week, it's going to have a Maestro vibrato. It will be interesting down the line to see exactly what this shoe is intended for. I suspect though that it's a little less tall than it actually appears from these images. We've all fallen into that trap before. You think,
oh my gosh, that midsole stack is huge in the heel.
But actually when it turns out there's quite a lot of material that actually cups around the foot. Another horse till and maybe for the Kinvara Pro from Saucony. Last but by no means least, we have from INOV-8 the Trailfly Ultra G280. Now I have a bit of a soft spot for INOV-8 shoes. They always come through with something new and interesting. Good to see a UK brand building a solid base of runners for trail and beyond. Now this one was launched only a few days ago, I think in October. This version of the Trailfly has a new midsole compound with more bounce and squash. It's called Fly Speed. And INOV-8 suggests the energy return here is greater than the previous versions. They quote a 68% return. Let's remember we're talking a trail shoe here, where ground feel and stability are much more important, especially Mr. Giraffe here, who has a ridiculously high centre of gravity. We have the trademark graphene enhanced rubber on the outsole, which we've come to expect, so super grip and excellent durability should be present here in this new version of the shoe. The foam does appear to be a nitrogen infused material, and it's got that flex area in the midsole and outsole, so you almost get a torsional effect, I suppose. It allows the two bits of the foot to move around a little. I think that's something that actually really benefits me. Perhaps that's why I always enjoy those shoes from INOV-8. I find a lot of trail shoes to be overly rigid, really, and it's nice to see that INOV-8 are showing some consideration for that type of feel. Absolutely one that I will test out if I get the chance, the INOV-8 Trailfly Ultra G280. That's all 4 shoes in today's Yay or Nay. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Musical interlude time. Today from Neil Young and Crazy Horse. This one's called Return to Greendale. Now, Neil Young and Crazy Horse haven't gone off to meet Postman Pat or anything like that. This was a really interesting album that Neil Young released, it must be probably like 20 years ago or something now. It was like a story kind of album, really. All the songs kind of told a different story about different characters in this sort of fictional town. Ultimately, though, the story itself is all about ecology, all about trying to save the planet a little bit. But there's 2 tracks on the album that really stand out to me as fantastic Neil Young songs. The track called Bandit, which is pretty much all done on acoustic guitar, is absolutely wonderful. Neil Young sings in a much lower register in the verses and then very high in his sort of trademark style, I suppose, in the choruses. Really nice drop D tuning on there, that low E string tuned down to a D, buzzing away. Just feels raw and live, and like Neil Young's actually playing and singing the part of the character. I really love the last track on the album as well, which is called Be the Rain. There's a fantastic video out there somewhere of them performing this track live with a whole load of different characters on the stage. Kind of like a musical theatre thing. It's a wonderful tune, and it does remind me of the fact that we've got to keep doing what we can do to try and preserve the planet a little bit. I've been using a lot less power recently, mainly because the power keeps tripping in my house, and that's fixed now, so it's all good. But hopefully my electric bill will be a little bit lower this month. Go and check this one out, guys. Fantastic grimy sounds with some nice plaintive acoustic numbers too. Return to Greendale by Neil Young and Crazy Horse. Right, that's all from me, and it's all from Beast too. Thanks for tuning in, it's always appreciated. Hit that subscribe button and click the bell below for notifications. Give this video a thumbs up, like, and share it with your running buddies. Hit us up with a super thanks below if you want to get a particular question straight to the mind of EDDBUD. I'm EDDBUD, and I'll be seeing you